this game will be fun. We have.
Well, I was
I
gonna
can't
say,
hear you. Oh, there you go.
I was gonna say, like, the interesting part about this game is what both of these teams have proven today is they are very good at capitalizing mistakes made by their opponents, right? So then it becomes a game of like who's gonna trip up and make a mistake first, and will the other cleanly close off the back of that? I mean, VP, we know that this team that does that, right? Like they've been tier 1 before, they've proven that they've still got some tier 1 players in there, some that need to prove themselves. But J178, like I said, their games probably look more clean. There's an argument as to whether they had an easier opponent than All But Gold.
I think it was a similar opponent when it comes
Yes.
to skill. Perhaps All But Gold, they have more experience, but J178 perhaps has more of these, I don't know, young stars. Pikachu, the twin brother of what's his name?
Raichu.
Iceberg, I believe. Then you have Palantimos as well that was playing for, was it Navi for a bit? Big Nam been around forever. Petushara, you know.
I think right, what was it? I think he was Plantimos was on Vega at one point, and then
Yeah, on Vega, but he was pretty good there, right? So he did well.
yeah, the guy's shown a lot of potential. Like he's one of those up and coming players. That's for sure. I think he was on. Was it Uvigini? I believe is the one that he got stuck on for a while. Uvigenia. They eventually called themselves unique because they're like, okay, everyone's getting the pronunciation wrong.
Yeah, it was one of those Russian names that you can't pronounce, so don't worry about it. It's all good.
Life's hard, you know. Mastering one language is challenging enough. Okay, not all of us are like you, Liz. Not all of us speak 3 different languages, 4 different languages.
Like my Russian, you can hardly say that I'm speaking it. Like I'm all right. I'm all right. I can translate anything they say. That's the best thing. But like when I start to create sentences, it gets a little bit iffy, you know. It gets a little bit harder.
Well, you get more than I do.
What's the delay, by the way? What's the delay on?
I believe we're paused. Oh, what's the delay on the stream? The delay on the stream should be 5 minutes, which is the base standard. If you find it anywhere else quicker, then that person is breaking the rules. Okay, I was kind of expecting this. We haven't got a chance to talk about the draft yet, but when they picked the Omni Knight in the first phase, and we know that Virtus.pro likes the Leshrac, this is like still one of the most potent combos in my eyes, especially for that mid-game aggression.
I mean, it's still awesome. It's still really good. What I really like is the way that they started drafting. Omni Knight into Rubik. Rubik is one of the best heroes versus Omni. You just steal any spell and you're golden, right? And the Lash plus Omni, as you just said, like, yeah, that's a really good combination of heroes. You have and now Chen too. There's a lot to sustain. I like this. Yeah, I like the...
Oh! We're getting a game of Meepo.
It's not the last pick, but yeah, it's a Meepo game, and it can work. They are playing Meepo into a Lash. Lash, if he gets like very fat, if he gets like Shivas, if he gets, you know, the classic Yule Shivas, whatever, BKB later on, he can take down a Meepo easily. But Meepo's job is usually not to let the game to even get to that stage, you know.
There's pressure on both sides, right? Meepo could ramp up quickly, but VP right now have a heavy push lineup early on, right? With the Chen armies, with the Leshrac as well. If they just take control of the map quickly, Meepo has nowhere to farm. Especially when you're on a team that has a gyrocopter as well, who also wants that space.
Then again, the thing about Meepo is usually you want to have this early game advantage into a rush, into 1 Aegis, and to close the game out, right? But in this game, you're playing versus a Chen, and usually this hero does bring a lot of early game pressure, which means that your lanes aren't necessarily going to be won. And if your lanes aren't won, then you know you might be suffering.
Okay. Brew as well. We don't really get to see much Brew these days.
A Brewmaster pick. That's actually quite interesting for a 2019 after TI. As we don't really see a lot of him, but it's a hero that brings a lot of utility. And wait, what?
Okay.
Yeah, they went
Carry
full...
Leshrac. Wow.
Carry Lash, yeah. They went full magic and just only pushing power that they've got is Chan plus Lash. I mean, I can get behind that, sure, why not? It can work. Chan with a lot of creeps plus Lash, you can start pushing early on.
It kind of ramps up. That Necrophos goes to that utility, right? Like usually when you were talking about these early push lineups, they're usually glued together by something like a Beastmaster or an Abaddon. Something that like goes, okay, I'm going to build auras for you and we're just going to run at them. And yeah, Necrophos, even played in the mid, can fulfill that role. You get a Veil, but then you go for the likes of the Pipe, for example. At the same time, you've got an Omni Knight. Like, there's flexibility, right? If one of these doesn't do well in his laning phase, the other one can pick up the slack and get those utility items to the team. This should be interesting, Liz. I think we've actually got a serious game on our side. There's volatility on both sides. There's the risk that Meepo could take over the game, but on the counter side, there's big risk that maybe Leshrac just takes those early towers or no one makes the critical rotations with Scythe, which I feel like, actually, if you can Scythe any hero, Meepo is one of the best, right? Because he's just all about this XP soak, and being gone for much longer hurts him more than most heroes in the game.
Mm-hmm. It's difficult to call this game for me right now. I'm looking at it and like I definitely see ways of J178 to win it easily. Wait, jfshfh178.
Okay, I got this one. You always give me the tips on how to say things. It's jfshfh178.
jfshfh. Okay,
Nice.
jfshfh.
We got it.
Okay, jfshfh178. They definitely have ways of taking this game. Like if it goes late, even you have a gyro that will scale well. You have the panda too. Like this game looks, to be honest, much easier for J178 than it does for Virtus.pro.
Does it feel like Virtus.pro has less fallback plan? Like if their early laning phase doesn't go well, their mid game kind of crumbles. And while you can argue you got an Omni Knight, super late is great. Reaching that becomes known impossible if you don't deliver in the mid because of Meepo.
Prepare for battle.
Or because of everything, right? Brewmaster, Gyrocopter even.
Mm-hmm.
Layers of trouble waiting to happen. It'd be interesting as well.
Layers upon layers. Like you can shut down the Meepo perhaps and win the early game versus him, perhaps even the mid game, but there's fallback plans for 178. But VP, they have maybe this strategy planned out, and they perhaps understand something better. Necro and Lash, they definitely can carry. Like if you get a Necro with, let's say, 2 nulls into Veil, Radiance, something like that, it can prove to be very difficult for a Meepo to deal with. Same goes for Gyro, same goes for Panda. But they're lacking that oomph when it comes to their carry. They don't have that Gyro that J178 have got. They don't have this standard lineup. They just have to play the game completely differently because of that.
No, that's a fair way of looking at it. I think the other thing to kind of compare is the fact that for Virtus.pro, there's kind of this sustain and nuke, right? Whereas 178, it feels like in this early mid-game scenario, if they don't nuke someone out straight away, you've got to worry about the Chen heals, the Necrophos heals, and the Omni Knight. Like, that's my only concern, is if Meepo doesn't have a good start, they don't necessarily have that instant jump in and just make someone vanish, right?
By the way, this Meepo is going to be on the safe lane as well. It's going to be interesting to watch this hero played out there, as he will be playing against Rubik and Omni Knight. I guess one of these heroes will go away, Lash or Omni. Yeah, Lash is being
the Chen factor is coming to the equation.
Yep, Chen, such a good hero when it comes to switching up lanes. One of the heroes why switching up lanes almost became impossible. He just recalls heroes across the map, and
in conjunction with the TP cooldown at the start of the game, because it was getting kind of ridiculous. Like, I called it musical laning. It would go on for 6 or 7 switches before things calmed down, and usually they ended up finishing how they started. So it's just completely redundant. But yeah, Chen now has a huge advantage, even now after the nerfs with that element.
Chen is looking all right on this top lane, helping versus Petrushara to zone the hero, to zone him out. At the same time, Happy Diorara is pretty strong versus Omni on this bottom lane, as he's spamming the decay and forcing him to go back. But also remember, the more you take away from him, the more he heals with that one purification. The more strength you take away, that is.
True.
Also, Save has done a good job when it comes to pulling the creep wave away. And they will meet the 2 creep waves just under the tier 1, so they won't even get denied under the tower, which is pretty good. Equilibrium is going to be bad for Meepo, or should be bad for Meepo from now on.
Although Rez is struggling to get any CS right now. Down to 46 strength, it's a bit rough. But yeah, this is important as well, because Omni Knight especially, it's a super greedy hero in terms of XP, and it doesn't have a recovery mechanism like certain other offlaners, right? You can't just like a Doom go, I'll go devour some creeps and I'll be fine.
No, that's one of the reasons why people used to buy Midas on Omni. You just get a Midas on Omni and then you can, you know, like you can recover no matter what. But Midas is such a dead item right now. It's so, like there's just a few carries that buy it, like Nikes.
It's hard to justify.
Sometimes Slark, yeah, but it's just too expensive. It's too hard to get it early on to justify it on many of these offlaners. We'll see if Rezo goes that way or if he just goes the standard like phases drums or just full utility like Vlad's, maybe Creeves even. They have a lot of heroes that can buy these utility items, and they have to decide which core is the prime damage dealer, which core is the utility. As it can go very poorly for them if they kind of go the same role on two cores, if you catch my point, because they have Omni, Lash, and Necro as cores.
You have to quickly identify who is falling behind needs to provide that utility, and who's going to be building like your Veil, your damage, right?
And also that it's not only about the item build. You have to adjust your playstyle to that way. You know, like if a hero is building utility, then he has to be the one that's able to be aggressive, that's able to fight with his teammates as much as possible. Bottom lane save. Rubik might be dead here.
Yeah, catch him out. Thorop gets him pretty low, and Palantimos even gets the first blood.
Yeah, because this is a very interesting build from Palantimos. If you click on him, he has no levels improve. He's completely laning dominant orient at the moment, as he went full into ransack plus Earthbind.
It's less farm but more aggression, right? Because you've got that Undying, especially, you know there's kill potential. You get someone down to like 400 HP, and that ransack lets you just keep wailing away, even when there's things like the purification to worry about.
Yep.
Definitely different.
Ransack is pretty good. It has been nerfed a little bit level 1, but it's still quite a strong spell. I remember when Meepo just got changed and people were bitching about Ransack like it's the worst thing or something. But man, once you realize that you cannot die in a teamfight, that was ridiculous.
He was
Sadly,
definitely broken when they first
sadly
changed
it's been nerfed since then, you know. But it just proves that people, they don't understand how some spell is strong until they feel it. Like on paper it looks like it's not that strong, but then you play the hero a couple of times and wow.
It's about things in a vacuum, and look at this right now. I mean, even the Ransack in this state, that little bit extra bonus damage. Rezo takes so much damage and just heals up Plantimos the whole time.
Yeah, he does use that salve, but the issue for him is he still doesn't have that soul ring. Luckily, he does have a lot of mana to work with still.
That mana can disappear quick though. I mean, watch this.
They are going for him, yeah.
Yep, and he only gets purification on the 1 as well, so it's a decent trade. The only worry for them right now is Happy Diorara is almost out of mana. Only one mango
almost
left.
Out of mana, but he can use the mango. He can soul rip the Meepo. Because of that, he's not going back. Undying is one of those heroes. As long as you have mana, you're
Epileptic? Well, he gets the rune, but it costs him, or maybe not. He's still running away. Bignum. He's got the Crystal Nova in a few seconds. Can he keep bottling up? He'll live, but barely.
He's too fast. Like Lash is one of 3 heroes that survives there. I think just because of the 380 with boots is just ridiculously fast, and he gets out. But what's really good for 178 is the fact that Meepo isn't pressured at all on this bottom lane. He has 30 CS. He's doing quite alright. He has 0 points improved, which is actually quite amusing to see a Meepo that's played without poof.
But still has this much CS.
Yeah, I mean, it's because this is the only way for him to CS on this lane. If he didn't have it, like, he would be constantly zoned out. They couldn't bring enough regen, but with Ransack level 2, he can actually just keep on fighting Rezo.
It also gives less value to the sticks that they've got on VP, right? Like, if you're buffing, that's easy stick charges. If he's throwing in a snare out, it's because he's going to hit you for a lot more than your value you get out of that stick charge.
Yeah, but I guess Undying is good enough when it comes to sticks, you know. Just Undying makes it valuable. Oh, Gyro, Pikachu.
No one baiting himself in. Scythe, not good enough to kill him off. Pikachu's low. Needs one more hit.
There's
oh,
regen.
no.
Perfect. Just a perfect play by the two of them. They baited the site, and now he can go back into the lane, perhaps even dive no one. As he has no sticks, Crystal Maiden is rotating from behind. This is difficult for no one. He might fall, but
he's fine. He's got the protection. Mud golems are here.
Just solo saving his ass. Like if there were no creeps there, he's certainly dead, because that rocket barrage goes solely on him. This way around, though, it's not the case, and he lives.
It's really good that he didn't die there as well, because he's been asserting dominance in this mid lane, and that could have just thrown it all into the wind. Solo has now got bot. He's realized they need to actually start pressuring the Meepo more, maybe force him out of the lane. Like, XP is good on both sides, but it's a Meepo. You know eventually what he's doing now will happen. He'll just fall back to the jungle, double up on the farm that you can ever get, and then you're out of the game.
Yeah, he definitely does not farm very fast.
Without buff.
Without buff, yeah. Like, level 3 ransack. Maybe it's an overkill, but we'll see. Perhaps he has some plan. He's only level 5, minute 7, and that's something that's not good. That's something that's pretty bad for a Meepo. Usually when you're playing this hero, even if you're on a safe lane, you expect 1 level per minute. It's almost minute 8 and he's still level 5. It doesn't matter what your net worth is. You need to hit that level 10 because it's your power spike. It's when you start farming much faster. But,
and that
so
move
far,
by VP as well was really critical, because you just open up the jungle straight away. You can already see the response as well from J178.
he's trying to go for this Chen, but I don't know if this is the play.
No, it's not just him. Look at the cooldown. Gyro went in.
Yeah.
Epileptic Kid. They might actually get him. The mid had to come party, but it pays off and they get a
Yeah,
big
now
kill.
they'll take Chen as well, it seems. He has sticks, but one more Earthbind should do it.
You can get the
It's
body
coming
blocks.
in. He needs to start microing the Wolf to
He's not.
body block.
He's panicking.
He's just following, yeah. This is
Okay, reinforcements to
sad,
here.
He
They
should
might
like
still
you
get
now.
him. Solo? Someone else might get the kill though. And they'll give it across. Splantimus still gets it saved. Now in trouble. The split's going to be used. Petushara shows up just in time and no one. Oh, he does get the scythe this time. That's a lot of regen. Is it going to be enough? They don't have the puffs for him, but they do purge him off. Now the puffs are there.
Oh yeah, that's also really good. Storm Panda is one of those heroes that has a built-in purge. Obviously, dispel magic. It's a basic dispel, but it's enough for the Ghost Shrouds. You can take that down and then you can kill him. I was wondering if they'll be able to kill him there because they didn't really have a lot of magic damage, but with the dispel they take him down easily.
And even the level 1 puff was enough at that point.
Also, I'm surprised Solo didn't micro that Wolf. He could have body blocked him there and he'd survive, but
There's a rippling effect as well, right? Because he doesn't slow down the Meepo, his other teammates have to come and save him. And
He's
then you
losing
just
the
stack
creeps as well.
everyone in the mid. And all of a sudden, this bloodbath, you're always on the run.
I think his creeps should be lost there too. There's 3 heroes around. Pose and 1 undying. Should be enough to take him.
Like, maybe if he stuns 2 with the Golem, he can walk away with the Wolf at least. But it's unlikely at 295 health. And this is a true heartbreaker. You know, you look at it. Solo lives. Well, actually, no, he didn't. He went down. But, like, he's back. Doesn't take him long to get back on the map. What does take a long to get back on the map are these creeps. A decent cooldown. You wait 15 seconds, and they have a critical part. The heartbreaker is always you have to find the right creep. That is the part that just destroys you.
Happy Durara almost falls there just to the stuns. Well, not almost, but yeah, still. Gets a bit low. And now with Lash up, with Shen up on the mid lane, they instantly go down to take the tier 1. Didn't even need to use that edict, I think, but it's not really the longest commitment. And the tier 1 falls easily.
Yeah, it secures the tower indefinitely as well. And this stage
But
in the
this is
game,
the way
look at
they
the
have
lead.
to be playing. This is the way they have to be playing, right? They have to be pressuring all the time. They have to be aggressive. I don't think they have a chance late game. I don't know what their plan was, but Lash and Necro, I don't care how good they are. They're not gonna carry this game versus Meepo, Gyro, and Panda. I don't see it happening.
I mean, they're looking
What
pretty
do
good
they
though.
like?
They're going to find another kill, and they're already 3k up. And this is basically more or less on the towers alone. But if they continue to sort pressure, it's good. You can already see that there's no real push for 178 in any of the lane. Like, a bit of damage on the mid, but that's literally it. No one else is trying to hit towers at all for the Radiant side.
If I was 178 right now, I would put this Gyro as my prime carry, not Meepo. I would be playing completely around him. Meepo has suffered too much. He's level 7, minute 10. He won't come online on time. And he has 3 raid bans and power shreds. I would just pressure with Meepo. I would move around and create space while Gyro is farming. Because this Gyro will be the prime damage dealer later on too. So
I
there's
guess
lads on Brudo.
it's also the argument, like, because Gyro is so fast, he can maybe play a little bit more aggressive in theory. But yeah, you optimally would put the Meepo in the more risky farm locations right now and say, Gyro, just soak up the safest lane.
I'm just like, no, Gyro is definitely stronger right now. Don't get me wrong. Like, I agree with you. Gyro is faster. He's able to fight, has cooldown, has rocket barrage, whatever, like, will contribute more to these fights. But I'm just saying that when it comes to scaling, which hero is going to be stronger if given enough space and farm, it's definitely going to be Gyro in this game.
Oh yeah, I agree. I'm talking about like the way that they're kind of sticking their heroes in different locations, right? Like Meepo is taking arguably the safest locations.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, he's farming the stacks around the shrine, while Gyro is the one that's messing with Chen's creeps, messing in the outer part of his jungle bottom. But he might catch Chen here.
Oh, that's a lot of creeps as well. Chen's the bonus at this stage. The amount of gold they just brought him. The Centaurs trying to actually help their master, but they can't. Solo will go down, and they'll clean up the Centaurs as well.
Will they? He needs
Rocket
to chase with the barrage, and
there it is.
yeah, he got like 400 gold, perhaps even 500 off of that, with the creeps and everything. Pretty good.
Must be, I don't know, maybe Chen's sponsored by DHL or something. It's just a delivery service for gold for Gyrocopter right now. It might just continue to be that way. I mean, he didn't go for the maxed home missile build, so clearly Pikachu's intention in this game, he understands it as well. I need to farm rapidly as quickly as possible. And also, as we just saw, it's insanely good against the Chen.
Yeah, and it's interesting he didn't max it at all, considering he's playing versus Necro mid. It's considered to be pretty strong versus that hero. But so is Rocket Barrage, and Swag Cannon helps you farm, as you said before. He almost has the drums. We need 140 gold left. He'll have it.
Looks like
He's really optimizing his farming patterns still, so doing pretty well. On the opposing side, I'm still baffled. I'm still thinking like it's Virtus.pro. They're definitely a great team, or used to be a great team at least. And I'm thinking like, what's the plan behind this draft? Because if this draft was drafted 1 month ago, everyone would be spitting all over Arzik. Like, that guy took so much hate from the CIS scene, and I believe undeserved hate. Like, there are some drafts, you can't win all of your drafts, but he was, like, people were hating on him so hard. They were wishing him death on Twitter, like, wishing that he goes away from VP as soon as possible.
nice save.
Panda dies bottom. Their wish did come true, I guess, the one that he goes away from VP, but I don't see this draft being like a stroke of brilliance from Solo.
That's the thing. That's the other part to this as well. Like, the coach has an input. Usually, it's more than one doing this as well. You know, you do get some teams where it's like a definitive voice, but you can't imagine that, for example, Solo or Ramses, these different players don't have inputs on the draft, on these elements.
It was Solo, Ramses, and Arzik, all three of them.
Yeah.
And they would take turns, so it wasn't like a one
Wasn't like
guy's
one
decision
central
always,
voice
yeah.
that dictates everything. Yeah.
It used to be one voice, but at one given time, right? So 3 months, and then if something is wrong, they would switch up. Undying.
Goes down.
It's gone.
Doesn't defend
I mean,
the
right
town.
now, this is looking really good. 3 Centaurs, a lot of sustain on this team. You can't really fight them. You have to split push. If you are J178, you need to understand this, and you need to be split pushing as much as possible.
Oh, absolutely. That tier 2 fallen is just the beginning because they haven't gone top yet. And once they do, like, VP are a stage where they'll easily take the tier 1 and the tier 2 immediately afterwards.
Yeah, Meepo is about to buy that E-Blade. How much will it help them during these team fights? I'm not certain. We'll have to wait and see. It is a huge power spike, but there's so much sustain on this side. What I really like about this VP's draft, though I talked a lot about what I find missing, but what I like is they have this Chen plus, let's say, Omni Knight and Necro combo. The heals are crazy. The amount of healing they will get during the fights from Hand of God and from the passive, from Omni Knight, from Necro. I don't know if 178 have that amount of damage. They need to wait a bit more. They're gonna have to stall this game.
No, I agree. Like,
Just a little bit
VP's
further.
lineup has the type of sustain that can get you on the high ground around 20 minutes. And that's scary. Because they are meeting those timings right now. Like, no one's a bit greedy with this Radiance, but look at it. He hasn't really needed any additional items. They're still getting more or less everything they want up to this point.
Usually when you're playing Necro, you go for Hood plus 1 defensive item, or at least just a Hood. This game, Hood is more than enough, as he has so much save next to him. He has the Necro, he has the Chan, and he has the Omni Knight too, so he's completely fine with just the Hood and the Radiance, I believe.
Speaking of Chen, he's actually getting close to that mech. Almost has it online. At which stage, you probably expect them to just encircle around top and start pushing in. So J178, well, they just done top. This may be the last time they get a chance to do that in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's also problematic that their Panda is building into a Midas. It's an item that I like on Panda. I talked about the cores that our usual Midas builders, and I didn't talk about the Panda, but he used to be a hero that would almost always exclusively buy Midas early on. Right now, like, it's 16 minutes in. Midas is more expensive than it used to be. I think some more utility for his teammates would be perhaps a little bit better, so that they can fight earlier once Virtus.pro starts pressuring. Because Virtus.pro, they're like a bomb. They're about to blow off any minute now. They're just waiting everything. They have the mech now. I believe they will start pressuring these last few towers very soon.
That's the thing. This is like right now, you look at this kind of remaster and his choice in build. This is going to be like a little league player being called up to the big leagues a little bit too early, a few years too early.
You see what happened in the Radiant jungle? They just killed off 2 Chen creep. I just wanted to say, it looks like a small thing, but small things like that build,
it delays
they
the
add
aggression
up.
and the push,
It
right?
delays the aggression, exactly, and they add up. It's really good that they managed to kill a couple of those, as it makes the champ perhaps move 15 seconds towards that camp, and every second in this game matters on a high level. And let's see if they will take down Pikachu on the mid lane, because he's trying to farm these creeps. If he farmed them a few seconds earlier, perhaps he'd be back, but this way,
he's gone. No way they can save him here. They just have to ignore the fact he's even there. Scythe, 70 seconds down, and the push is now renewed. There's even a creep here, so they'll be able to hit on the tower straight away. Big numbers to try and slow it down.
They have these two other cores that are extremely greedy, and they aren't doing anything on the map. You have Meepo that's just farming the triangle, which is usually Gyros, and you have Panda that's just out pushing top. But he did listen at least, and he's going for that pipe instead of the Midas, so he will bring more utility to his teammates.
I'm glad
I think that's the right decision, yeah.
Yeah, like that. The point I was hitting on is like, it's the little league player being in the big league too soon. It's kind of like, if you send him in these fights with Midas, because he will be needed in these fights very soon, he will just get deleted. He isn't ready for it. And that's kind of the awkward decision J178 has to make. When are they ready to fight? Who can go and fight? I mean, solo, this is a primal split to get the Chen. You may find more if you're lucky. Oh, the TP's out. Epileptic makes it. Save does as well.
Yeah, the spell sadly does not cancel TPs. Usually it's the tornado that does.
Yeah, that was a misclick, I think, because I'm pretty sure I had the Cyclone, right?
Yeah, he just misclicked, that's all. He dispelled instead of cycloning. Maybe he did like cyclone into shift click dispel, but only dispel went out because he didn't press it properly. It happens.
The result, split now and cooldown for another 100 seconds, which means immediately VP can renew the aggression. Chen will quickly grab and gather a new army of poor, helpless neutral creeps to throw at his enemies. They don't have a choice in the matter. Mind control is the power of solo.
Yours mid lane, he has no split now. He's just gone, I believe.
Yep, Faye wishes he had the pipe on him now. Probably would have made any difference.
At least he died 15 seconds before Reaper's Sight was off cooldown, so they couldn't use that on him. He will be up in 30 seconds, just in time for this defense.
Or to get scythed again.
Or to get scythed again, that's also true.
No one has this Radiance as well, which... This just makes things 10 times harder for 178. Like that flat cannon that was so scary before, chances of it missing now is a bit rough. You already see they're trying to slow down no one. They even just let the Shrek hit away at the tower as a result. Now stun. Gyrocopter. Oh, they mistime it. Scythe comes out, but because they missed the stun, they don't have the damage. Now no one needs to get out. Has a big wand. Enough for the Ghost Shroud. Guardian Angel.
There's lift.
E-Blade trying to jump in. They decide against it though. They hold.
Yeah, they hold, and meanwhile Meepo did take down one tier 1 on the bottom lane. So it's not too horrible. It's not bad. No buybacks were forced.
Meepo stunned to build that gold lead, I was going to say. The interesting part is his XP, though. Like, his XP is suffering so much.
Not every player plays Meepo properly when it comes to farming anymore. That's also what I noticed. I noticed many tier 1 players are... it's difficult for them to adapt to the new Meepo when it comes to farming. But they need to play a couple of games and figure out what they're supposed to be doing. Basically, before, when you're playing Meepo, you're running around, like you can see right now, he's farming with 2 Meepos, while the main Meepo is running around. You can't do that anymore. I believe right now, if you're farming, you need to have a separate control group for one of the clones, and run around with that clone while the main meepo is farming with other clones. As it's difference in experience. You don't gain the same amount of experience anymore on clones than on your main. It does matter.
Which means, a reasonable explanation as to why he's fallen behind like this. He's eventually catching
Also,
up.
he was on the safe lane.
Yeah,
Like
that was a fair point. And it's also because of the build, he wasn't as effective at clearing the neutral camps as he would have been with the maxed out puff.
So there's like 3 things that added up. Safe lane, Earthbind, maxed out, and Ransack before Poof. And also the fact that he's not farming as efficiently as he could.
It's going to get harder as well because, you're missing a lot of towers on the map already. You can already see VP. They're starting to circulate around the top. They want to get rid of the remaining outer towers that belong to 178 and keep this gold lead going. And 178 have had enough. They TP up here. They're ready to fight. Smoke movement by VP. Lantimos might break it. They'll just back away. Can't risk going up into the high ground blind. That's the easiest way to die in this game. But they're not done. They're thinking about wrapping around here. And Solo might die for
Get
it.
the creeps!
Clap. Nice Yules out. Epileptic Kid doesn't even throw out the stun though. Jen staying alive. This creep army might not be so lucky though. They'll at least slow down the pursuit. But look at this. They're going in with the zombie stacking up. No one in trouble. Go Shroud.
BKB.
He does indeed. Chasing in. Cyclone's going to come out. They're keeping Necrophos out of the fight for the moment. Solo being chased. Pikachu turns around the BKB now. But look at this. No one's so tanky because of that Heavenly Grace. And this is a runaway BKB. Oh no. They can turn around here. Cyclone to keep the Necrophos away. Epileptic Kid going in. He's getting ready with the stun. There's the Yules. Gyrocopter in trouble. Needs an escape plan. He might be able to get it. Freezing Field zones them out.
Freezing Field.
Good
really good freezing field. He needs to use something before it's stolen, though.
Yeah, save is running. You can see it already. He gets it.
He got it. He got it.
And they might get him still as well.
Let's.
Nice, quick enough with the drums as well.
Yeah, Yules is on cooldown too, so they can't get him. But really well played by both teams there. In the end, VP are the ones that come.
Okay, they're gonna get him. He hung around a little bit too long. Down to half HP. They may have gone too deep. No one still has that scythe to work with though, so they need to be careful. Freezing Field from the low ground by save. The cooldown as well. They are going to lose this tower, but they might stop VP from taking more.
They will go for shrines after this. Slash has no mana. They won't pursue this. There's probably... Oh,
no one does...
TP.
He's
TP by travels.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to do that because no one's refusing to leave.
He can TP and also be recalled by Chen. I believe that's what
there we go.
They can push now.
The better Kunka arises. Scythe comes out and oh my god, he's gone. Put Shara down. Yules is there. Stun follow up on the Pikachu. They'll just slowly whittle him down and scare him away.
The amount of sustain on this Virtus.pro squad is definitely what destroying 178 right now.
I think the word is obnoxious, Liz. I'd call it obnoxious.
Definitely. Like Chen plus Omniknight plus Necro, and it's just so difficult to take anyone down. They heal too much. You can spam them a bit, but that's about it. You aren't killing anyone. They need more time. They need this Meepo to continue pressuring top. But their mid lane is already gone, so Meepo has to retreat. You can't split push anymore, and the 5 of them, they move towards the next closest shrine.
Will be the first shrine to fall, that's for sure. And this is actually brilliant from VP. Like the way they played that approach on the base, like identifying without the BKB, even if the cooldown comes off, it doesn't matter. It's just that instant punishment. I like that they went and committed like that because we mentioned this, right? If this goes too late, then VP do curb off. They have to push their advantage while they have it. Oh, I guess he didn't want to send his creeps back, or was that must have been a? I think that's a mispress. Yeah,
that's 100% a mistake. You don't waste such a big spell this early on. 160 cooldown as well. That's a misclick. But the BKB is almost completed on Lash. He needs 500 gold more, and then suddenly it's going to be very difficult for 178 to take him down. They truly need a lot of farm on this gyro, but sadly for him, he wasn't prioritized when it comes to the farming patterns. He was always the one farming those more dangerous areas, and because of that, he's fallen behind a little bit. He's not there where he would like to be.
And he has to
right
fight.
now, he might be really deep as well.
Down.
One stun, second stun, he might die here.
No, the Yules. Epileptic needs to move away. The freezing field though, it's looking good. They go on the back line, safe, trying to protect his teammates, but it's not good enough. This Ransack doing a lot of work. Now they're going to protect. Epileptic's going to stay alive. Plantabos needs to pull out.
Almost.
Nope, doesn't make it. Goes down. Bignum now needs to escape. The steel's going to be there. Knock up Barrage to spam out the damage. Should be enough to bring down another, but instead, no one falls. Pedushara, this split is still running. He might find resolution.
That's a good fight for 178. A great fight indeed. As they fight under a shrine, they'll take down Lesh and Necro, and this might be the moment in which this game breaks half,
Dire's
and
middle tower is under attack.
J178 starts controlling it completely. We'll see, but I believe this is what they needed. Meepo dying is not really a big deal anymore. He's supposed to be the one that soaks up a lot of damage, mans up and dies, while Gyro cleans up afterwards. Also, they made some pretty bad mistakes in that fight. When Gyro went in, he has a BKB, but he was stun locked. And instead of continuing that stun lock and maybe Reaper sighting him when Necro is there, they Yule him up. And after the Yule, he BKBs and he's able to fight. Also, Rubik, on the other hand, had a pretty decent freezing field. I expected it to do a lot more, but Meepo is already tanky enough to just sustain himself through it with Skadi and 2 raid bands. Top lane will just escort Bignam to his death. And yeah, Meep almost survived that fight. He almost poofs away with like 1 HP. He actually died where he poofed. He didn't die in the middle of the fight. So there was some projectile that followed him and killed him. If he survives that fight, they take Rosh instantly after, and the game would be almost as good as over. But
they're going to try now.
VP are now in the pit.
They actually need this so badly as well. Pikachu has the BKB again. He's going to get stunned up, though. They can't stun lock him. BKB. Epileptic Kid chasing him with his own BKB. He needs to get out due to the cooldown, though. No one hangs around. The zombies are starting to stack up a bit. They get out of range. So big BKB is used on both sides. But this is a big deal for Gyro, right?
Exactly. It's a much bigger deal for Gyro, as Lash is mainly dishing out magic damage. And Gyro is the one that has to sustain himself through that, and he can't if he doesn't have a BKB. So it's a much better trade for VP than it is for Pikachu. But then again, none of these heroes fell. Rosh has been averted and stopped, and it's J178 that strategically come out ahead as they this is what they wanted. Yeah, they don't want to trade BKBs, but they want to stop Rosh from happening and to just continue farming.
I'm actually kind of surprised VP didn't try for it again, right? Because while the split is there, you now know the big BKB isn't, and Pikachu can't frontline. But I guess they're getting a little bit worried about Plantimos now, especially with that E-Blade, Skadi. We mentioned how tanky he was in that last fight.
They're getting some big items too for themselves. There is Shiva's Guard almost, I don't know, he actually bought it just now. So you have one major way of dealing with the clones and with the Gyro. You have Shiva's plus Radiance, which is pretty good. Perhaps one of the reasons why they backed off. Also, just going into the pit it's not the best play. You want, just like when you go high ground, you'd much rather get the pick off. The same can be said for Rosh. You want to get the pick off first before going to that pit, before taking it, unless you have some heroes that take it really fast.
Which is definitely not true of VP.
Yeah, they're basically magic damage plus Diabolic Edict, and that's it.
Things will calm down again, but as is usual, they'll end up back at the Rosh pit. VP trying to bait this, actually. They're not hitting Rosh. They want to try and force J178 in. As the smoke gets broke straight away, and the Crystal Nova reveals what's going on. Meepo, drop Epileptic. Guys get the stun out. So Rip's trying to heal up Meepo, but they're jumping him. The puff comes out. Epileptic with the BKB backs away. The Cypher's there. Not enough to kill off Meepo, but the follow-up will. Brings him down. Hand of God. Buy back out of Meepo. Pikachu's BKB run out soon. Epileptic will TP away, which means Solo is going to be left behind. If he's the casualty, they might be happy. Rezo can't run quick enough, actually. Look how many zombies are on him. The zombie apocalypse emerges on no one as well, as he'll be chased down. And Rezo will TP away, but I don't know if no one can survive this. The puffs are ready. I don't even need it. Pikachu gets it.
Perfect fight for J178. They lost the Meepo's buyback, but it hardly matters because he can take the Sages after. It's a fight in front of the Rosh pit. It's a really big advantage for them. Like the J178, they're looking as strong as Virtus.pro right now. Better said, Virtus.pro don't look nearly as strong as they used to. This team would make quick work of these kind of teams like J178 and Old But Gold, but they actually struggled winning versus Old But Gold in that second game, and in this first game versus J178. They definitely still have ways of winning it, but
This'll come in handy.
it's not easy. They're playing versus Meepo and Gyro in the late game, plus that Panda is scaling really well too. They have some problems, that's all I'm gonna say. They have some issues.
Yeah, you can kind of see the cracks in the picture. It's starting to emerge that this is the forgery of a Mona Lisa. Like, this team has a long way to go, and I feel like Rezo, you know, he's not doing a bad job on the off lane, but it's almost like in a lot of these games, there's too much on his shoulders. No one almost always seems to have a good time. And then Epileptic, it feels like we're seeing those kind of pub star plays sometimes. Like that wraparound was very ballsy, and he feels confident about it. And you get the kill, but by then, you're so deep, you've baited the rest of your team in with you, right?
I think the plan was the shrine is dead, and because of that, that play is possible. But it was a decent idea, but Meepo buybacks and ports on that tier 2 on top. So one of the questions should be, why didn't they take the tier 2 on top earlier? If they did, Meepo would have no access points to rejoin that fight so early on and win it for them. But one more thing that I have to say again is they killed the Meepo, but Gyro repped from behind. He used that huge cooldown on that clutch area between the two stairs. And that's enough. Like, that's so much damage. Virtus.pro just fell apart after they couldn't fight any longer. You take down the Meepo, but you lose 3 heroes for that.
And usually we talk about Solo as one of these kind of kings around the Roche pit, right? That's one thing that really defined VP, was how they understood the Roche and how they manipulate teams around it. But
I wouldn't call Solo was the main guy.
But as the captain, right?
As the captain, he definitely played a part, but I believe it was the 3 cores of their team that orchestrated those fights. Bottom lane, Meepo should be careful. If he goes for one more creep wave, Rubik is hiding. Okay, Rubik TP's away. I think they could have killed him if Lash had a Boots of Travel off cooldown, but Boots of Travel were like on 10 seconds more, so they couldn't catch him down there. Usually, how it works in most teams is your position 5 is, like, let's say if you don't have a coach, he's drafting and he's orchestrating the early game together with the position 4. He's dictating the pace of the game. He's telling you where you should be, what you should be doing. After the laning stage into the mid game, he can be doing it a little bit too. But in the late game, it's mostly cores that feel themselves the best, that understand what they're capable of, and they're the ones that are making most of the calls and movements. It differs from one team to another. That's just my experience so far, what I've seen and what I've experienced.
That's a fair way of looking at it. I guess the thing that I was kind of highlight here is it was very kind of, you can see the difference between this VP and the old. Maybe part of it is they know that they're on the clock, so they're feeling a bit more desperate. But the way they rushed up into that high ground was very, should we say ballsy? Ballsy's a good choice.
Happy Durara just broke his smoke there on the bottom lane, unfortunately. Because of that, no one doesn't come any closer and he survives. They might jump him here, but he's really tanky. He has Shiva's Radiance and Omni Knight behind. It would be suicide to jump on this Necro.
We've seen these type of games before, so they won't take the bait.
They don't have to rush this. I think it's a big mistake for J178 if they go rush this. Instead, Meepo should just be split pushing top lane and they should chill. Keep them here while the clones are out pushing top. You don't have to rush anything. Meepo doesn't have buyback yet. He does have Aegis, but no buyback, so...
that's the big risk.
Unnecessary. Yeah, it's a big risk. If he dies twice, suddenly you can lose another side. If you're 2 sides down, it doesn't matter how much in a lead you are. 2 sides down is difficult to play against.
And
it's also almost as difficult as Megas, honestly.
Yeah, it's like this is actually, in reality, the best value you can get out of the Aegis. Is the way they had to actually blow that buyback is you have to treat this Aegis as kind of like just the filler, right? It's like your tooth has gone rotten, okay, and this Aegis is the filler for that mistake.
Interesting that Meepo went for, next to the Aegis, you can actually see that he has a Reaver. Interesting that he went for that build. Like, you don't see a lot of Meepos buying a Heart anymore. Heart is just an item that's dead for this hero, but in this particular game, like, being as beefy as possible versus magic damage is what's important, and Skadi doesn't help you there, so Heart or just a Reaver can work.
Well, we talked about him being the front liner, right? Like, he's actually kind of been a makeshift Naga in this type of game.
Radiant are scanning.
Pulling Gyro to carry when they get there.
Gyro needs more farm though. He's moving towards that Satanic, but I'm afraid they even considering how these last few fights went, I still feel like Virtus.pro have a slight advantage when it comes to damage dealt versus damage sustained. I believe they can sustain themselves much longer in these fights and even through the BKBs. While 178, once they blow up their BKBs and their big spells, they won't be able to match the pure heals coming from Omni Knight, from Chan, from Necro.
It's also the damage reliance, right? Like, when you think about who splits damage where, Necrophos can pick off people pretty easily, right? Lilithrak does a decent amount. And even someone like the Omni Knight, the purification, the hits, it's all adding up. Like the point in the bottom of the line is they have 2 cores which can kill people. 178 are building their lineup in a way where you get to a stage, if Pikachu dies, you can't take the fight anymore. Because your Meepo is all about just being tanky, not picking someone off.
And he's the one that they might find with the smoke. Also, memes, solo smoked them on 3:22 before Roshan may respawn. Just some memes here.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to impact it, Liz, but it's too early to tell. They're going to towards the high ground.
There's no ages and there's no buyback on Meepo, so it will impact them one way or another.
But Solo's on the 3P side, so it's up to them to 3-2-2. Pikachu with the early BKB, okay. Maybe you've got a point here. They're jumping in, but that's BKB wasted. And now Brew gets left behind. They don't stun him, though.
That BKB was used so quickly by Jaro.
Definitely felt like he jumped the gun.
You know, you're playing versus Rubik versus Necro. You can be lifted and just controlled and brought down. I can't really blame them.
BKBs. Epileptic's pretty far in. Brewmaster in trouble. Cypher getting low, but he heals up the Soul Rip. The following up heal will allow him to get the Brew split out. No one. Ball stuffed away. Ghost Shroud to protect him. Pikachu's getting extremely low here. He needs to be careful. They might just turn around and kill him off. BKB from Bignum trying to run him with the Freezer Field right now. Necrophos being controlled up. Too tanky to deal with. Solo getting low, but Brewmaster can't finish him off quick enough. He needs to run. He's running out right now. Epileptic is waiting as well. He's got the Yules. And now Brewmaster looking pretty screwed here. No opportunity to blink away. Only Death awaits him. The Soul Rip. Not sure it's going to change it. He might have buyback, but now he has no split, and they're going to run him down and get back in the base. 2 catapults here as well. It's going to be at least the tower.
Remember a few minutes ago we were talking about damage dealt versus damage sustained, and Virtus.pro.
A prime preview.
Yep, like prime preview in that, like great example. They're just too difficult to take down if you don't have the damage necessary.
No, they just do what they don't before.
Jaro going for Satanic, he just doesn't have it.
Yeah, he's just too far away. You mentioned it very early on. The farm priority wasn't on him, and instead the stuns are. That home missile lasts so long as well. Gyrocopter. Oh no!
He's got BKB.
Got BKB. Stay alive. Necrophos forced off the way again though. Plantimos just being kited out because he doesn't have the ability to control via a hex.
They will fight this. The tombstone is down.
They have to fight this.
Meepo goes in.
The
Oh my god.
Get low. Solo's killing the tombstone alone. They'll actually try and renew it, but it's too late.
Meepo. Micro.
Plantimos. Microing is overrated. Just hit things harder. He's got the buyback.
He will have buyback. He will have buyback though. Yeah, he has it right now.
He might have to commit it.
But what was that? He jumps in with 2 Meepos, 2 are left behind. Then he pulls one back, but the other one is just standing there. Now they're 2 sides down.
Key bindings bugs. That's all I've got right now. That's probably the excuse he's going to give if you asked him. Cooldown to try and scare them off as they're hitting on the tier 4s, but no one. I mean, we mentioned the sustain. You got them down to half HP. Thumbs up. Watch what happens to their health in the next 10 seconds. Epileptic will be back in a second, as he's just been recalled by Solo. No one is healing up once more. They're not leaving. You have to deal with this issue, 178. Meepo really doesn't want to buy back. They're at least trying to wait for the split because it's now coming off cooldown. This is their moment to shine. Bignum, big freezing field, going to catch out Solo alone. And God just in time to keep himself alive and buy time for the rest of his team, but no one. Caught out by the Cyclone. Used by Lestrak to protect himself as the home missile was chasing. No one. Full staff down to the low ground. Shara has vision on it though. BKB about to run out from Pikachu. Needs to get out. Cyclone to protect against Lestrak, but no one. Chasing in. Looking for the opportunity right now. Does have the Scythe to work with, but the Glimmer Cape will protect. Pikachu backs up in time. But they're back in your base. They still refuse to leave. I'm sorry. Is it me, Liz, or is there only like a quarter of this map in use right now? Are they finally going to go find the other 3/4 of the map? They might, because Roche is up, and they could approach it at any moment.
They will move away. This time they will move away, but how much time have they been fighting, and how many heroes did they lose on the side of VP? They only lost Solo. They've been fighting forever, like 4 minutes or something.
I was starting to believe that we were in some sort of one-lane version of Dota at this point. At least they keep Plantimos' buyback. Wait, no, they didn't. He was actually forced to use it in the end. I'm getting actually mixed up with the Gyrocopter one, which they do have. And I feel like we are approaching a point where the Gyros one is bigger, especially if Plantimos is going to micro the way he microed that last fight.
Some mistakes have happened for sure. Gyro has finished off his Satanic for this next bit and is moving towards the Rapier. Man, I feel like that Rapier should have came even sooner than the Satanic, because it's like they need to bring them down. You can't match the sustain. Like Satanic, it allows you to match the sustain of theirs, right? It gives you the lifesteal, it gives you the active ability as well. But it's like you need to actually take them down. You need to kill them. If you don't, they will out-sustain you for sure.
It's like one of those little tactical games where it's like cavalry beats archer, and instead of building the cavalry, they're building the archer as well, so no one does any damage to each other. And if this turns into we'll call it a draw then moment, the problem comes that VP are the ones partying in your base and your buildings are casually dying on the battlefield. Things will calm down for the moment. So once again, the reluctance to commit heavily into the Roche pit. We saw what happened previously when VP got a little bit over-ambitious around that place. Not in a rush to do the same thing again.
Dire are scanning.
Oh,
Double
there we
damage.
go. Don't need a Divine Rapier, just need a DD.
That also helps out.
Although, imagine a Divine Rapier with a DD. That would have been the moment.
Imagine having a buyback on this Gyro, because this next fight could be
Yeah, he bought
horrible
out.
for them if he dies. He bought out.
No missile stomp for them. Epileptic Kid will start moving in. Wonder if they realize he doesn't have buyback. You know, it feels like at this stage in the game, surely he'd hold on to it, you think. But VP are going to test the wars. And J178 will start to walk into the paddling pool. Cool down to try and get them out. Epileptic Kid, poking and prodding. Lift onto him, lasts a long time with a Pikachu. Glimmer Cape to protect though. He's taking loads of damage. He actually needs to be careful here. Yule's out.
He'll have to be KB now.
There we go. No choice. Has to go in. The zombies are starting to amass though. And no one was zone BKB to back away with the Heavenly Grace as well. Rezo, stuck in the tree line right now. He can't move.
They should just go into the pit, I believe. Or they can take down Chen.
What? Rezo's stuck on something. He'll TP away now. Chen will die for it though. And on the side, Save with a freezing field has to back away. I do not know what he was stuck on there.
How was he stuck there? Yeah.
There's
I
like a
was looking.
mini cliff. I don't... You know what? Rezo's now the master of getting cliff because we've seen the people on the big ones, but I've never seen that one before.
I've never seen it too. Interesting. There's a BKB on CM as well, so she can turn
Save.
here. Oh,
Doesn't
no
get
BKB
it straight
as well.
away. They'll get her afterwards though. Save with the Crystal Nova. Buyback comes out from Chen. Forces the one out of CM as well. Epileptic Kid's pretty deep. They're going to Happy Diorara, trying to get rid of him quickly. He hasn't really got much left to contribute to the fight, but it is a body that is gone. The split has been used. Buyback comes out from him as well.
There's no
Cyclone to keep
buyback
no one
on
away.
Lash. If they get him.
They can't though. It's too far away. Meepo trying to go forward. Force staff to get him away though. No one is protected again. The dust to make sure they can see everything, but no one.
This is good. This can be really good for a J178.
Oh, Guardian Angel. Chen is going to heal up again. They need to get the puffs out quickly to get rid of Chen, but no, this playoff isn't good. Bignum trying to do the freeze and field, but it's just being ignored for the moment. No one can ignore him anymore though, and he'll go down. Rezo trying to get out. Gets away with the force staff. Necro with the buyback, but Rezo may still be dead yet. Epileptic Kid down to half HP. Buyback trying to get to him. The Yules to protect himself. Pikachu has to run away though. No one chasing. Doesn't have the scythe to work with. But they will respect the power that VP has, and they will force practically every buyback on the table.
Ruby comes back now with the freezing. He actually stole the freezing.
Oh, this could be big.
And it looked like it could be big in that fight, but he had two problems. Once he didn't have 400 mana, and the other it was still on cooldown from the last time he stole it and used it. But for the next fight, it can definitely be big for him.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's got it now off cooldown, so if they go back into the pit, like this might be the moment because it's 50 seconds till Maiden can match that.
The problem that both sides have right now is Virtus.pro, they bought back their big heroes, right? But 178, they don't have buybacks. They didn't buy back the Gyro, but he doesn't have enough gold to afford dying.
And that's where that sustain comes into the factor as well. You know, we talked about this burst that they need, and Gyrocopter, he's nowhere near this Divine Rapier. He won't have that burst, that capability of just bringing someone down quickly.
Earthbind is such a great spell. Just continue sending webs in the pit and you'll have good vision on what's going on, what's happening. Most likely Meepo will jump in the pit very soon too.
No one refuses to leave. He says, no guys, we're doing this. This
They
has
just
to
need
finish
the-
now.
They just need the Undying with the Tombstone there.
Heals, Gyro. They actually didn't throw out the stun. They thought he was going to be KB there.
Yeah, he didn't get
Lift.
triggered there.
True.
Really
He
good.
has got the split. No one is impossible to touch right now. Sorip and Glimmer to protect. Save.
Good
Does get the
Rubicon.
freeze field out.
He gets bashed by
Oh,
Rush
shit.
first hit.
Thanks, Rouge. Jump in, Bignum. It says it's my turn. to shine. Freezing Field is ready. He's holding on to it, though. He's not going for it now. He targets out solo, trying to bring him down. Hand of God, he's going to waste Blantimos' time. On the other side of the fight, though, the split is zoning them away. No one. BKB has ran out, trying to turn around split offers there, but Pikachu still fine. BKB isn't available anymore, but no one's taking too much damage. He needs to get the Scythe out, but he can't.
Meepo
Tied out.
going into the pit, I guess, or not.
No, that's not the move right now. They need to be careful because they can lose Pikachu instead. Bignum gives his life. Zone them all away. Dies for the cause. They force the distract buyback, but now VP might just get the Roche. Nets in.
He will.
It's going to be too late.
Petroshara might try to
No.
to the blink.
Jump in. They don't get anything. Petroshara, he's just going to go down. Nap time, big boy. And 130 seconds on the sideline. At least he has buyback.
Yeah, no Aegis or Chi stolen for him. And man, like, Meepo could have played that fight so much better. All of them could. Like, Gyro did so much space and so much work. Meanwhile, Meepo, for that whole duration of 3 minutes, killed a Chen. Like, he was chasing a Chen together with the Crystal Maiden, and they take him down. But, like, that's hardly the target that you care about. At least he could have went into the pit. Like, he actually could have went just straight into the pit and taken that rush. That would have been so much better for them. Unfortunately, that fight looked alright for them, but right now they're playing versus Aegis and Cheese, and they have to be very, very careful about how they defend this high ground.
It just felt really awkward for Bignum, right? Like, he makes that brilliant move in. You see him BKB, and he spends the entirety of chasing off because he wants that Chen so badly. And it just feels like there's this overinvestment at that stage, and then further, as you said, when Meepo just chases and chases for a good 10-15 seconds.
Chen is a great target because of Divine Favor.
But Meepo? No, he can't get out quick enough. The freezing field. Oh,
he has no buyback for 9 more seconds, though.
It's okay.
So, it's okay. He'll have it.
Still, though, that's not the way you want to have to give a buyback over. Pikachu needs to get him out of the base. The tips are coming out for save. They're confident right now. Pikachu moves away under the Glimmer Cape, but
might catch them off
there it
now.
is. Yules, he has the BKB. He's going to have to use it, though. Does get it out in time. The stun's going to be there. They haven't got the Scythe, luckily for him. They're trying to actually look for the split, but Brewmaster stunned up for a long time. Epileptic Kid trying to move away. Taking a lot of damage right now.
Meepo buying back, coming
in.
Gonna
go down once. Binets. Blantimos chasing. They're looking for solo again. He's Glimmer Caped up, but it won't keep him alive. Epileptic Kid will use the BKB to get away. And it looks like they might leave Omni Knight behind at this rate. Meepo goes pretty deep. Nice stun coming out. Epileptic Kid trying to go for the kill. Taking too much damage himself. Nice use of the Heavenly Grace to protect him. Bignum with a big ultimate with the BKB. Trying to do the damage. Rezo's going to get low, but they can't finish him off. Nice lift coming out. Good save from the Rubik. And now no one. Eats the cheese. Stays alive. Crystal Maiden's going to go down. They've lost the Meepo as well. Pikachu has to hold this on his own shoulders. Happy Diorora is going to try in the tree line. And they will at least get Rezo. So they'll offset some of the aggression. But VP, they're resetting and going again.
Yeah, this is 2
Ping comes
versus
out.
3 right now.
Oh, that's going to be 1 versus 3 because there's the Scythe. Buyback comes out.
Buyback.
No choice. They could still keep
have
going,
to
though.
hold it somehow. Yeah, this throne is actually exposed as well. But Lash did port back. He has travels to come back in, though. Oh,
They both did.
This game, man. This game. A couple of mistakes from jfshfh178 late game, and even though what looked like a pretty solid performance by them, even though what it looked like a game in the bag, they managed to throw it all away.
It always felt like VP, because they took those lanes early, they had this inherent advantage that if 178 took one good fight, they had to take another one, or they never had an opportunity to get out on the map. And VP, you know, they have their moments where they may have slipped up or got outplayed, but they instantly come back and bounce back. Pikachu with the BKB now has to go in. Epileptic Kid has his own BKB to work with. He won't get a chance to use it, but he will clean up the racks.
This is at least Megas right here. I think they should even sack it, go back, wait for CM and Undying. They can't defend that. They don't have the BKB, and if he dies, it's over. He has no
one. I mean, he's got a heart. He's forcing the matter. No Scythe, but Gyro taking way too much damage. Pikachu, no stunned up. He didn't actually get out just yet. He's trying to heal up. The Yule's going to be there as well. Solo will go down to the Bignum's freezing field, but Pikachu, he needs to get the hell out of dodge. Glimmer can't kill down this game. Epileptic Kid does go down. No one. Trying to hit onto them, trying to hit onto everything right now. While Necrophos might be unkillable, his teammates most definitely are not. The Cyclone is there. Gyro.
If they kill Necro, this is game.
Very well could be. VP. No one needs to get out on the side. Save is wasting their time. No one with a TP out makes it out.
Where's the Cyclone?
He chased off the save. What?
Oh my god. Oh, that was game there. If Necro dies, it literally game over. 2 cores without buyback for 100 seconds. With Meepo and Gyro, they could take the throne in that span of time. No problem.
Liz, what the hell is this game?
I don't know, man. It's a little bit failfish and a little bit embarrassing, but it's definitely interesting to watch it.
We're definitely keeping you on the edge of your seats. I would not want to be a better man right now. Because despite an 8k lead existing for VP, despite the fact there are Mega Creeps, they are still holding on the side of 178. They don't know how terrible heroes for pushing out the lanes.
Gyro has Divine Rapier. He has no travels though, so he should be the one pushing mid while Meepo is defending with his clones and pushing with the main one. But it looks like they won't even try to do that. Instead, what they will do is they will wait and fight off the Mega Creeps. So we're in for a long haul. Let's see. Lash buyback 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Necro buyback 30 seconds. All right, these cooldowns, they're coming back down for VP. So basically what they could possibly do is throw their bodies on the throne, force a glyph, and then again go with the Lash once he gets that level. I mean, once he gets that buyback cooldown, kill off the throne.
That's right. We might be about to see the classic World War II conscript strategy. Just throw more bodies at the equation. The Chen creeps, your buybacks. They do have the damage. I mean, this is track. He's up to level 25. That Diabolic Edict melts this throne pretty quickly. And they don't have glyph for 2 minutes as well. DD. Oh, we've seen games decided by this, but VP don't have a lineup that really does that. However, no one...
Not necessarily greatest room for them.
But he has his attack speed talent, and we know that no one likes to sit there just casually hitting things. Feels like a game where no one wanted to play DK, doesn't it? The way he's kind of played this game. Just stands forward, hits things constantly.
I mean, it's the same way of playing the hero. Necro and DK, they're pretty similar. Just that tanky, ballsy hero up front.
Oh, yeah.
They're going in, and he's going and doing exactly that.
Pikachu might want a flat cannon soon, just to clear out all the creeps. So there's the root. Stun onto him, Gyro. Titanic will decrease the stun duration at least. No one will back up a little bit. Just probe and see if they can force a mistake BKB out of J178. Because that's your moment to pounce. Whoever ends up using a big ultimate or big BKB first, they're your target. Pikachu standing his ground. No one getting pretty low here. But
they can't approach him. Like, this rapier is just destroying them.
Gyro, ready to party, gets stunned up again, but Satanic, he's like, your team might have sustain, but so does mine. No one is not feeling so tanky anymore. This is starting to hurt a lot. He can't even get him below the half HP mark. Now, oh no, epileptic kick going in. Needs to be careful. BKBs to run away. Pikachu still has his own BKB though.
He just died to the AoE damage pretty much. Nothing more.
No one?
Might fall, though.
Yeah, he had to BKB there just to run away. Pikachu, he's making this work. And the stun's bluffed this time. Undyne will buy back.
I guess if you're VP, what you do is...
distract them?
You just wait and you go for Roche once it respawns. It will respawn maybe in 20 seconds, maybe in 3 minutes. But in that time span, it will respawn. So you can chill. You don't have to go. The problem when you're playing versus Megas is to contest Roche, you need to outpush the creeps. And while you're outpushing creeps, they have full vision on you, so they know where you are. And it's always easy to go into the pit or out of it if something happens. They try to contest you. They didn't really manage to do anything to this throne. They can't throw their bodies. I was wrong. Like I was saying, maybe they can throw their bodies on it, but they truly can't. Maybe they could, like you said, distract them and then Lash goes from behind with Edict, but that's about it. You can't just force it.
I think they were also keeping track of... I mean, you know, Solo always plays. A lot of them are very talented.
Look at Chan's build, by the way. Solo, master, the master of efficiency right here. He has so many ladies in Russia that he bought 5 rings. 1 for each one. I mean, wow. I always knew he's a playboy. Like, you could see it on him, like... strutting about with that haircut of his, and he actually was a guest member of one of the most famous Russian shows recently, teaching this super famous guy from Russia how to play Dots. It's a guy called Urgant, I think, or something like that. And I don't know, I don't watch that show, but I know that it's super popular.
I mean, maybe he's just a...
Maybe because of that, all the ladies want him and he bought so many rings. That has to be it.
Maybe he's just a big Beyonce fan, you know? If you like it, you could have put a ring on it. So he's put a ring on his favorite hero.
She didn't say 5 rings. She said...
Hey, it shows a lot of commitment. Commitment to not die. I mean, there is a logical reason behind this, and it's the armor value, right? Like, once you get above 10 armor, there's a pretty noticeable difference in terms of your effective
How about
HP.
you buy yourself a buckler instead? And it actually,
Nah.
an
More
additional
rings.
buckler isn't an option. All right. I see.
Okay, the other play is you build
How
Basties
about
now,
you
right?
buy?
And you
how
can
about
hit the
how
throne.
about you buy yourself a chainmail or, God forbid, a plate mail instead?
These were cheaper.
These were cheaper.
He keeps dying.
Alright.
So look at him. 0-11-6, right? He only gets enough gold for a ring of protection each time. Give the man a break.
He literally needs to take 2 satires and send them across his side of the map where no one is ever, and he'll have enough gold in the span of 1 minute. But better buy 5 rings, Pog. Makes sense.
He's got to be the frontliner. They're in the pit again. See, he's closest to death and by being closest to the raiding base. The problem is 178 haven't left their base. So
Who's getting the juicy Agnes?
maybe Chen?
Is it Lesh? Is it Rubik? Who's getting it? Is the 3 of them that are inside? Maybe even Rezo.
There's an argument going on right now. Everyone's making their justifiable argument as to why they should have Aghanims and save wins. No surprise
It's
there
Rubik.
with the freezing
They give
fields.
it to Rubik.
Yeah.
Yeah, Freezing Field is amazing with Aghanims, so give it to Rubik. Does make a lot of sense. Plus he has 25 talent plus 50% spell amp for stolen spells. He can team wipe them. This Rubik is going to change the way these next few fights are taken for sure. Like you'll see, if Crystal Maiden uses that ulti, they will lose the game. If he steals it, the Freezing Field alone can win the game for them.
Absolutely. Just a matter of positioning and patience. Save has to save his jump opportunity until the opportunity rises.
And of that is upon you. What a eerie sentence to put in the chat right now.
The dark. No one? Starting to hurt again. What we call
There's
the
a
big
buyback on
owie.
April. There's a buyback on Gyro, but if he buybacks, perhaps you won't have that rapier again.
Oh, no, he's bought out.
Radiant's ancient is
He's-
under attack.
Gyro's just
He
short of
needs-
the buyback.
Yeah, he can farm it up though.
He should be able to get it. No one is protecting himself from the physical damage. If they can just burn his health pool quickly, the problem is he soul rips every time, keeping him healthy. And now he'll start to move in. No one needs to escape the hand of God there. Epileptic Kid moving across. Meepo does commit on the solo. Cooldown's going to be there as well. Plantamoss getting pretty low. Guardian Angel as well. Scythe does get rid of the Meepo, forcing the buyback straight away. Pikachu backs away. BKB's ran out. But now the flat cannon reigns supreme. No one down to half HP. The Ghost Shroud, but the zombies. It's the mass zombie
They have to go
apocalypse.
back because the Ancient is being hit by the Carties and the Megas. They maybe could have went on Necro there and finished them off. At least his
no.
first life.
This is a
but they
big
don't
problem.
even manage.
They used the split as well. That's the other big
They
problem.
used
here.
everything. They used the buyback on Meepo too. This is pretty much over.
Movement in.
See?
Double Edict is being shared around the heroes right now. Epileptic Kid getting low, uses himself defensively. Cooldown follow up. Pikachu needs to be careful. Satanic's up, not risking his life there. No one will protect himself against the damage to the Ghost Shroud. They jump in. Chen goes down. Poor guy can't live for more than 2 seconds. Epileptic tries to eat the cheese to stay alive, but Bignum still using the freezer field the whole time. He gets the full duration off. Buyback comes out. Edushara chasing out. Not much HP left. No one. Trying to sidestep. Has got the Aegis.
Lash is
coming
waiting
in.
for the throne, it seems.
He is. He's wrapping around. He says, wow,
He's
I
wrapping
don't have
around.
to
They
share
don't
the
see it.
damage
They
from the
don't
double
know.
edicts.
He's finishing it.
He's like, over here, guys. There's the glyph now. He's got the BKB. Aegis has been claimed. BKB's up. Rue goes
If
down.
he dies, he has
Plantamoss.
no buyback.
He needs to be careful right now. That micro, no! He's going to go down.
Rue
See him as well.
caught.
The buyback comes out. Save. Tries to do his work more, but in the end, Pikachu brings him down. The Rapier Man is still standing and still doing the damage. He needs to get rid of the creep before Rubik can get in.
What is
Nope,
this
he can't
game,
get
man?
in. Rubik is away from the base. They need to leave. This game is never ending, Liz. We're going to be here 2 hours later. No one stands his ground again. Pikachu says, not my throne, not today. Get the hell out of my base.
Pikachu, what a monster. You just can't get through this guy. But Lash is coming back. He has travels to work with, so he can port and do the same thing again. Necro is attacking the Ancient on his own, but the teammates are coming.
178 dreaming of the Hex right now. That would really allow him to kill anything at this point. No one with the BKB. Are they going to finally end this? They're sharing the damage again from Dark Edict. Trying to move far enough away. They might have just done it. Finally, VP take the victory. But my god, did 178 make them work for it.
GG. J1's call it. A couple of this game is very hard to analyze as it's over because there's so many plays that made it, and so many plays that broke it for J178. I believe they could have won this game versus the new fresh stack of VP, but VP just played marvelously well, and they utilized their strengths really well. The sustain that they had on this team, they played to that advantage. And I think perhaps if Gyro had a little bit more, a little earlier, they wouldn't have lost two sides so fast. Also, his option to go for Satanic instead of extra damage early on is justified because he can easily die by the rapier, but by the
Scythe.
Reaper sight, yeah, but then again, if he doesn't deal that damage, they lose one side after another, and that's what happened. Meepo, you're playing the side lane Meepo. You don't have enough experience. You're level 5, minute 7 and 8. Like that's the complete idea of this hero changes when you're not level 10, minute 10. Like you have to be that. If you aren't level 10, minute 10, or at least 11, like the whole concept of the hero changes, and you don't hit your timings correctly. But VP, I'm not saying that they played the most exceptional Dota I have ever seen this team play, but it was good enough. They utilized their strategy properly, and they won versus J178. Looking forward to the second game.
No, definitely. Hopefully, Jay can try and get back out on the map quicker. I mean, VP, like, well done to play this. We said there was a worry about this getting too late, but they hit the timings. And this was risky as well. You know, there was no coming back from this. If you didn't get in the base that quickly, you feel like VP can't leverage that advantage. You think about those fights that J178 took. Each time they had to look back at their base immediately afterwards because of the early lane advantage the VP had. So, a risky strategy, paid off. J178 definitely made them work for it and definitely show some signs of life. We'll see if they're going to quickly recover themselves, stay moralized, and come into game 2 and actually get us to a best of 3 third game for the first time today. But right now, VP 1 game up.